for the women's team, number one, we are by far a better team than we were last year, and part of that happens through injuries, that unforeseen injuries that happened that kind of maybe made things not quite as well as they could have been. But our team goal, as far as a conference goal, is to score more points at the conference meets than we did the previous year, and I think it totaled like 30 points indoor and 38-ish outdoor. So those are our primary goals there for the women's team, is a conference goal, and if we achieve those conference goals, the national goals most likely will find their way along the way. But that's first and foremost, is we've got to improve our place at the conference meet. Now for the men, the expectations are interesting because of the fact that we lost over 20 seniors from last year's team. So it's certainly it's so hard to replace that group at one time. But I feel good about what I have, the improvements that we made and the improvements that each individual made over the off season through the fall training until now. And so the expectations are still to be in the upper half of the conference and to still challenge top 10 at nationals, but hey, get enough people there to find a way to trophy. Because once you get the individuals there, anything can happen on those 2 days at a national meet. And so, that's the primarily goal there, is top half of the conference and put ourselves in a position to be not just maybe top 10, but to potentially trophy at a national meet. For the most part, everybody did their job. It's an interesting time when you take some time off finally in June after a long season, and to get that internal motivation come the summer. It's easy to start up again when you get here in September, but certainly one person in particular, I think Darren Hudzak, came back and did some really good things over the summer that I was impressed with. But overall, a lot of people did good jobs over the summer, and we're training well and are ready to go. Biggest strengths, as far as the men go, I've got a really nice group of middle distance runners on the men's side. Starting with Jason Hankins. He's going to come back this year. Now, he was ready to do some special things last year, and a couple unfortunate situations at the end, getting tripped up at a last chance meet where I thought he was going to run really, really well. But I like our middle distance group. We have a spattering of individuals, including returning two-time All-American in TJ Valley on the men's side in the hurdles. And we also have Ace McCarthy back in the high jump, All-American 2 years ago. And so I'm looking forward to that. We have a young man that's now a senior that's ready to break through the pole vault, in Jared Bradfish. I think we have a lot of people in a lot of areas that are ready to break through and try to make it to the next level. And the next level for those guys in particular is the national meet. And I feel good about where they're at right now. Now, as far as the women, we have a returning national qualifier in the 800 with Lene Axelson. And so it's really nice to have someone of that caliber returning. I also like our returner in the high jump. We have multiple high jumpers in MK Cladar and Caitlin Thompson. Both of those individuals are going to do just fine, along with Alyssa Iserman. She's going to do a nice job there too. There's a whole nice group of high jumpers that I tried to organize a couple of events that help build that camaraderie and to show them that, number one, that I care about doing some things outside of just the track and field world. Mm-hmm. A couple nights ago we had a trivia night with the team, and so myself and the couple of the coaches put on what the world knows as a trivia night, except we do it based upon what their knowledge is, and we throw in a couple of fun little categories that they actually know a little bit more about. So we did something like that a couple nights ago. We went bowling as a team a couple nights before that too. So those are the type of things that we try to bring some people together, because track is it turns into an individualized situation where ultimately you're practicing in different worlds every single day. But once in a while we try to bring things together. Friday spaghetti dinners at one of the houses. That happens all the time, where they get together and organize stuff like that. So it's great that we build that camaraderie with especially the young people who don't know about this place and don't know what the feeling is on the team. So that's how we try to build that. I was so fortunate to come here, last year at this time, becoming at the time, interim head track coach, and being blessed by given what Coach Nick Ash passed on to me, which was a great situation, a great foundation. Of course, I'm putting my personal touch on things, and I did that all last year, but in my mind, what I did last year is I tried not to change a lot of things, especially when it came to training athletes. In my particular training group, from the sprinters up to some 800-meter runners, especially because of all those seniors that came along. I didn't need to change the formula that worked in the past. Now, am I tinkering with that year two? You bet. Always tinkering with things. If you're not tinkering with things, you're not getting better. And so I certainly think that I'm doing the things now that are making the team better and each individual athlete a little bit better. When you get through the fall training, the little nicks and dings aren't quite as big of a deal. But this time of the year, it is a big deal, because now we need to get you to Saturday, get you to the start line, get you on the runway to be able to perform, get you in the throwing ring. And so there are certainly, you end up taking a couple more potentially days off. I've talked to lots of people about the importance of at least there's 2 days a week where the training is really, really relevant. The other two we can work with. We can work around a little bit. Balancing the rest, balancing the heavy training is extremely important, and putting in their head that it's the things that you do outside of when I have contact with you that make the biggest difference. The modalities going to the training room, the eating, the sleeping habits. Those are the things that no control over, but are a big part of the game. And the ones that do it well, they understand that, and they hopefully are the ones that are also injury-free. Injuries happen though, so you've got to be ready for anything. That's the apple that brought me to this conference, or wanted me to stay in this conference, is having that competition all the time to make you pretty much national level ready when the time comes. And it's, when you perform well at a conference meet, you're going to perform just fine at a national meet. And it's based upon, it was crazy fun last year when we finished third in the outdoor championships last year, and ends up being 4 teams out of our conference trophied at a national meet. Unfortunately, one of them wasn't us, but when you compete well in this conference, you know that you are going to compete well at a national meet, because there are not many weak events in our conference. That is for darn sure. We know where the talent lies, and there's some events we're stronger in than other events, but for the most part, this is the time of the year that they have to stay healthy. If an injury takes place, especially on the women's side, the women's team, I wouldn't say is nearly as deep as what the men's team might be. So when the women's team, if we have an injury from a major contributor, that certainly hurts a lot. And it doesn't take away anything of the hard work and talent that the next person down has, but maybe that's partly where we're at right now. So staying healthy, no doubt that's the name of the game this time of the year.